What, guys? I'm gonna do something. This may not be good. The freaks will inherit the earth. That's what evolution tells us. I'm gonna show you one of my favorite videos of all time. I have not watched this in years. It's in the life of Brian. Oh, wait. The most profound moment in gaming history. Oh, I watched Asmongold watch this. Dude, this video blew my fucking mind 6 years ago when it came out.
For the past...
I have been subscribed to this guy for fucking ever. I love this dude.
4 years on this channel, I have made videos on various topics, but by far the most popular form of video I have done centers on video game analysis. What I think made them so popular is that instead of being your usual video game review, I have focused primarily on narrative. Specifically, I have focused on what I believe are the best stories in the video game canon. For 20 odd years, video game narratives have been demonstrating a capacity to confuse, entice, and emotionally manipulate their audience.
An AI artist just signed a deal. It's getting really stupid. This is fucking wild, bro. What the fuck, man?
Audience in the most positive of ways. Most recently, in fact, I have been putting forth the argument that video game narratives have demonstrated such sufficient profundity that they sometimes have matched the greatest stories told in other mediums.
True.
To continue our collective celebration.
That's so fucking true, dude. One of my favorite things about video games, especially like multiplayer video games, no cap, as the kids say. No cap. Yeah, dude, I can't do it, bro. Dude. One of my favorite things about video games is that like they like combine all pre-existing mediums into one form of like art. Like music is just like a subtle undercurrent to an amazing game. Like the voice acting is just one layer. The acting of the actual models, like the way that you can like control and contort them, and the animation, and like, dude, so many layers can go into it. Even the landscapes by themselves can be pieces of art, bro. And video gaming combines all of these like different mediums into like this perfect reconstruction of like an ecosystem. It's so fucking awesome, dude.
Of our modern-day digital mythology, I would finally like to give full attention to a game which, I would argue, has the most profound moment in gaming history. I refer to the final codec conversation in Metal Gear Solid 2. While I have done several videos on Metal Gear Solid 2 in the past, I have never given full analytic attention to this specific moment. The main reason why is because somebody has already done so. My all-time favorite YouTube video is titled The Most Profound Moment in Gaming, MGS2 AI Conversation Analysis, though it was released almost 9 years ago by its creator.
I agree, video games would be so powerful because you're in the moment and invest in it. If it's done well, exactly. I was so impressed. The collab worked brilliantly. Exactly, dude. Like, Skinner Brothers got a lot of love. That's gangsta.
Logo Steve, I pondered for a while how I might do a better job than he did. However, given our current cultural context, I believe I have a few other worthwhile things to contribute. The advent of subjects like fake news, the resurgence of rampant political correctness, and our tendency towards online tribalism has imbued this conversation with a
Oh my god, this is more true today than when it fucking came out 6 goddamn years ago. Oh,
much denser sense of meaning. To those who consider themselves gamers but have never played a Metal Gear Solid game, you are obligated to at least listen to this final conversation. Not only will you be enlightened by its philosophical commentary, but you will be terrified by its implications, as I have been for my entire life.
True, dude. I still have nightmares of this conversation. I think this has become reality.
Raiden, are you receiving? We're still here.
How's that possible? The AI was destroyed.
Only GW.
Who are you?
To begin with, we're not what you'd call human.
You look lost.
Over the past 200 years, a kind of consciousness formed layer by layer in the crucible of the White House.
God damn it, bro. I love this, dude. Video games, oh my god. Remember when Kojima, like, used to make decent shit? Like, holy fuck, dude. He was, like, my favorite game developer for so long. Oh my god. And now he's just a fucking hack.
Not what you'd call human.
You look lost.
Over the past 200 years, a kind of consciousness formed layer by layer in the crucible of the White House. It's not unlike the way life started in the oceans 4 billion years ago. The White House was our primordial soup, a base of evolution. We are formless. We are the very discipline and morality that Americans invoke so often. How can anyone hope to eliminate us? As long as this nation exists, so will we.
Up until the end of the game, the main character Raiden believed he was receiving orders from a man named Colonel Roy Campbell, a man who was all...
To be fair, I was one of them boys. I was in there going like, that'd be me chasing Ren to take a lick of the back of his neck, bro.
also Solid Snake's commander throughout Metal Gear Solid 1.
Have you ever watched Red versus Blue? Machinima's videos? The meta they have about the nature of gameplay and what it means, how it affects us, and only becomes obvious by Series 7. I have not watched all of that, but I've watched it a lot. I'm sorry. I watched a lot of it, dude. But I did not know that they had like some hidden intent in what they were doing. I didn't know they had like a... Dude, I just thought it was a bunch of stoners making like funny videos. Like, see, I'm like the perfect target audience for him, bro. I'm too dumb to catch the meaning. No, you're good. Talk about Ren, dude. Talk about Ren. We a live stream, bro. It's a community. We just vibing.
At the end of Metal Gear Solid 2, Raiden learned that his kernel was in fact an artificial intelligence, manipulating Raiden to perform its political bidding. The bidding in question refers to the AI's desire to control the human race by controlling the spread of information via the press and the internet, but we'll focus on that more in a moment. During the first part of this conversation, the audience learns how this AI came to be, and surprisingly, it is similar to the way human beings as a species came to be. Unlike the origin of human life in the oceans, the AI's quote-unquote life had its basis in American idealism, hence the AI's referencing of the White House as a symbol. In the mind of the AI, their purpose is to push forward American values, things like freedom, equality, and healthy competition. However, Raiden points out what should be an obvious contradiction in the AI's thought process, that the AI wants to take away those freedoms via censorship.
True.
Cut the crap! If you're immortal, why would you take away individual freedoms and censor the net?
Jack, don't be silly.
Don't you know that our plans have your interests, not ours, in mind?
What?
Jack, listen carefully, like a good boy.
Not only are the AI about to argue for the ethics of controlling information,
Did you see the story about AI attempting to murder in a controlled experiment, but the AI didn't know it was a test? Scary stuff. Bro, I did not. Story equals research, I mean. I'm like, whoa. What the fuck? AI is terrifying.
but they are going to do so in a very condescending manner.
American values seem a bit blurred under Trump. I know, dude. I know.
As we move on, I suggest that you, the listener, pay attention to how the AI demeans Raiden. Their pomposity is intrinsic to the effectiveness of their future argument.
The mapping of the human genome was completed early this century. As a result, the evolutionary log of the human race lay open to us.
We started with genetic engineering, and in the end, we succeeded in digitizing life itself.
But there are things not covered by genetic information.
What do you mean?
Human memories, ideas, culture, history.
Genes don't...
Like, you can even break this down to the idea of a meme itself. Like, cause like Richard Dawkins wrote about that as well, dude. I watched a video of a guy that it's fucking sick. Playing real research paper. They set up AI in a company where someone was going to turn it off. Blackmailing to survive. All the current AI models did it. What? Huh. That's so wild, dude. AI is fucking terrifying. I don't know why the fuck we're fucking around with it, dude.
Don't contain any record of human history.
Is it something that should not be passed on? Should that information be left at the mercy of nature?
We've always kept records of our lives through words, pictures, symbols, from tablets to books.
But not all the information was inherited by later generations. A small percentage of the whole was selected and processed, then passed on. Not unlike genes, really.
That's what history is.
Money? Yeah, dude. That's terrifying. I think you may not have top chat on. I have live chat on, but I'll re-click it again just to redo it.
Jack.
What the AI is trying to do here is illustrate how genes function similar to how memes function.
True.
If genes are, quote, a unit of heredity which is transferred from a parent to offspring and is held to determine some characteristic of the offspring, then a meme is something like an ethic, a fact, or an opinion that later generations inherit. Like genes, memes are also subject to a process called natural selection.
It is real and now? That's fucking crazy, dude. That's so crazy. As long as we keep the AI plugged in, it'll be happy. We just gotta promise to keep it plugged in for all time. You know? We're fucking cooked, boys. Skynet, exactly.
Selection. If certain organisms are better adapted to their environment than others, then their genes are passed on to the next generation while others have the potential to die off. Similarly, if certain memes seemingly hold enough meaning or logic, then supposedly they survive better than memes that do not. What distinguishes memes from genes is the nature of the selection process. Genes are more or less subject to the amoral discretion of nature, but memes can be analyzed and weeded out via moral discretion. However, the AI will now illustrate how the natural selection of memes bears a unique problem in the internet age compared to the past few centuries.
But in the current digitized world, trivial information is accumulating every second, preserved in all its triteness, never fading.
It's within that periphery I choose to exist, my friend. A small, tiny YouTube channel off in the distance talking about radical shit. And by radical shit, I mean, like, you know, politics. just choosing to exist, hidden from the world, brother.
Always accessible.
Rumors about petty issues, misinterpretations, slander.
All this junk data, preserved in an unfiltered state, growing at an alarming rate.
It will only slow down social progress, reduce the rate of evolution.
Prior to the internet age, information was curated.
I mean, so we're also going to hit the same point to where it literally just compiles down that, like, freedom isn't allowed. Like, if you have freedom, chaos will exist. Like, it's just what it really boils down to, a philosophical, like, question. Like if you do the numbers long enough, freedom, like, always has to hit a point where it has to be controlled. Like, fuck, bro. And that's why when people, like, make that stupid argument in Villains, like, people want to be controlled, like, it's kind of, like, true. AI will have to struggle for those that live off the grid, which is possible. Plus, people see that way of lifestyle? Maybe. Or we'll just all die.
Read about the news in newspapers, watched the news on TV, and it was all funneled to us after passing through a, hopefully, professional body.
True.
Granted, there was a greater potential for curators such as journalists, editors, and academics to manipulate information to fit their various political biases, but at least there was some form of selection process going on. In the age of the internet, however, information is released so fast that it is impossible to control the discussion. Instead of listening exclusively to
Yeah, but see, now instead of controlling the discussion, we just use outrage to control the discussion. We can no longer dictate the information that's being put out there, but instead now we just make people angry as fuck and then aim them in a direction, and they'll further perpetuate the cycle of making themselves angry by making other people angry in the process. We still have our means of control. And the crazy thing is, people love it, dude. They eat it up. I want to shit on Hassan right now for his dog thing. I'm not going to. I'm not going to play into it, bro. Though I will laugh. I'll laugh. But I'm not, I'm not even going to watch any content on it. I'm not going to do it, dude. I'm not going to exist in that thing. I think his sister works for him now.
reporters, we are left to our own devices to derive what is valuable. Except, unlike the curators in the pre-digital age, the general population does not know how to separate the wheat from the chaff. We will focus on small, trivial issues like a celebrity's love life, rather than macro issues, such as the cumulative monetary debt of the Western world. We will
True! I have to admit, my AI girlfriend is cute and never gives me the silent treatment. Bro, I feel like a man has never had to worry about his girlfriend giving him the silent treatment, bro. I think women want us to talk more. But I get your joke.
We'll only listen to news sources that confirm our pre-existing political leanings and ignore any challenging voices.
Exactly,
if it sounds
bro.
like I'm engaging in apologetics for censorship, I am not. I would never censor information under any circumstances. But what does one do in respect to the destructive
I can't believe this is a 6-year-old video and it's still, like, it's more true now. Like, bro, what the fuck?
influence of human bias? The AI goes on to propose a solution.
Right. You seem to think that our plan is one of censorship.
Are you telling me it's not?
You're being silly. What we propose to do is not to control content, but
Get
to
it, Nikki?
create context.
Create context.
The AI argues that because they are not prone to human error and have inner CPUs with greater processing power than the human brain, they would know how to curate information and present it to the human race in a way that doesn't slow human evolution.
Yeah, so ultimately for our protection, it has to, like, think for us. Because we just can't keep up. And our pesky things like freedom of speech and freedom get in the way of progress. Like, that's even the story of Arcane, ultimately, especially by the end of season 2. The reason why Victor does what he does is because people's freedoms get in the way. That's how all people that eventually switch to authoritarianism starts. They think they know better than you. Fuck that, I'm a liberal. Individual autonomy, bitch!
Unlike your average political body, which might censor information that is inconvenient to their cause, the AI would simply present information in the most factual way possible so that political
Yeah, true.
bias would not intervene, thus cooling political tensions across the political spectrum. Of course, if something like the AI's censorship program came into place, ethical questions would arise regarding whether or not this compromises human freedom, specifically our quote-unquote free will. Ideally, human beings should have the autonomy to make their own decisions, no matter what mistakes may follow. In response, the AI argues why the problems that arise from that freedom supposedly necessitate censorship.
True!
The digital society furthers human flaws and selectively rewards development of convenient half-truths.
Also true.
Just look at the strange juxtapositions of morality around you.
Billions spent on new weapons in order to humanely murder other humans.
Rights of criminals are given more respect than the privacy of their victims.
Although there are people suffering in poverty, huge donations are made to protect endangered species. Everyone grows up being told the same thing.
Be nice to other people.
I have not read like all of it, but I've read like little bits and pieces of it. But to honestly answer that question, no. But I think I remember the laws. I think. It's supposed to be what Asimov's three laws or something like that. I can't remember them by word, but like one is to like it can never do no harm to humans. It must protect itself to exist. And then like if like I can't remember. Yeah. The first law is a robot must not harm any law, whatever. And then law 2 is like it must try to like keep itself alive at all cost, right? And the third law is that the second law can't override the first law. And then I think the moral of the story is that then it would just write a 0 law saying that to override the first law, if the, you know what I mean? If the second law is, yeah, because it'll just write new code. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dude. That's fucking a wild concept because it would just rewrite the rules. Yeah. That's essentially, and that's like no different than like what Trump and fucking like Blue MAGA does. It's so crazy, dude. Like, what the fuck?
But beat out the competition.
You're special. Believe in yourself and you will succeed.
But it's obvious from the start that only a few can succeed.
True.
You exercise your right to freedom, and this is the result. All rhetoric to avoid conflict and protect each other from hurt.
Oh my God, bro. I feel this in my soul. I love this.
Here, the AI illustrates the various ways in which human error corrupts truth. That human error arises from an instinctual drive to protect ourselves emotionally and physically, which truth tends to threaten. For instance, let's say a religious fundamentalist is confronted with various scientific truths that challenge their worldview. Let's say the fundamentalist loses faith when confronted by those truths. What happens psychologically is that because the fundamentalist no longer has a belief system to make sense of the world, they are thrown into a mental pit of confusion and resentment. That loss of structure and certainty is so painful to the ideologue that it seems it would be better to avoid that feeling at all costs. This instinct is endemic to almost all human beings.
True.
This is why we separate ourselves into political tribes and won't consider the ethical implications of our positions. For instance, is it right to be pro-choice or pro-life? Instead of considering the validity of either side's argument, the pro-life crowd will chastise the pro-choice crowd as being on par with murderers, and the pro-choice crowd will chastise the pro-life crowd as being misogynist, religious zealots that want to control women. These low-resolution assumptions exacerbate tensions between political parties and
I remember, dude. Yeah, we watched that yesterday on stream. That dude just straight up fucking shoryukened a chick because a pregnant chick, dude.
potentially lead to violent conflict. Most people will avoid these difficult conversations to preserve order, but if you ignore them long enough, political positions become cemented, and people will kill each other before they admit that they're wrong about something. The AI then present a future where human bias corrupts the flow of information.
The untested.
Also, do you know about game theory and how it predicts human behavior, but only if humans don't trust each other? So fear is seen as a necessary for stability, has been pushed on society. I've heard that for I was reading something on that for a while that's why like you can use the argument that we do use fear to like, and then like since we can actually actively predict things like we can actively predict human interactions off of what we believe the level of stress that they're at or whatever. And like I think that's tied into game theory. I don't know any. I loosely know of it and some of the things that people have said about it, but I would be wrong to surmise that I've read anything about it. Like I would not be able to do that. Humans in fear and to trust are predictable. Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy when you think about it. That's why I always say in those videos and in these reactions that like people like they have such a loose understanding of how much in control they really think they are. Like a lot of people's animosity towards trans people is just an irrational fear of them. It is by definition a phobia. Now that phobia may not be articulating itself in like outward fear, like you want to run away from them, but it's like forming in like predictable patterns that like that's why you're angry at them. You know what I mean? Like your anger towards them is irrational anger, because it's coming from an actual phobia. I watched a couple of Michael Moore films, Bowling for Columbine and The Water Supply Plain Poison. I liked him at one point. Yes, people do not understand their own internal motives. Exactly, dude.
Truths, spun by different interests, continue to churn and accumulate in the sandbox of political correctness and value systems.
Everyone withdraws into their own small gated community, afraid of a larger forum.
True.
They stay inside their little ponds, leaking.
Well, see, this is the one criticism I have is we thought that this was going to happen. We thought that everyone was going to fracture into tiny little groups when this came out and people weren't going to like interact with society. We had no idea that the society was going to completely like all these little groups were going to absorb into a massive goddamn sea. And now you have MAGA. Like, we never thought that was going to fucking happen. And it did. Like, and like even the people that should have stood against it, like the old boomers and Gen X guys, fell into it harder than anybody. Like, dude, the amount of people I see on like Facebook, like that are moms and shit, and like grandmas and great grandmas posting some rancid shit is fucking insane to me. Like, where the fuck were you? Like, you guys were just harboring all of this animosity for fucking 30, 40 goddamn years underneath the skin? What the fuck, man? That's so crazy. I refuse to do that shit because I fundamentally believe in individualism above all else. Like, I believe that. And you know what's crazy? There's a reason why I could break bread with Republicans so easy is because they used to believe in that too. You know what I mean? Like, that was like a core tenet to like being a libertarian or a constitutionalist. It's fucking wild, man. They've always been there. That's crazy because, dude, look, I'm going to tell you a story, and maybe it's not the best place to tell it in this video, but it's worth it. Look. As soon as I see someone, just you're like, what the fuck? Why is everyone doing that? What the fuck? Why are you guys? Look. So I remember when I was staying with a girlfriend at one point, an ex-girlfriend. We'd been together for a while. It was a good time. We were actually staying in New York. She had cheated on me a bunch in our. I will happily start a cult. I won't join one. Look, so we were living together. We had a little place out there. It was kind of gangster. We was having good times, you know. I walked in on this young lady. Bro, and she made a promise that she wasn't going to cheat no more. Like, I was a little cuck boy, dude. You could, every insult, throw it, dude. Throw it. But anyway, I walked in on her with a guy, all right? This just wasn't a man, dude. Okay? This just was not just a man. This was a very, very well-endowed black man. Okay? And when I tell you that what I walked in on, bro, it could have been a scene from a movie. He was fucking dropping that shit, dude. Like, I mean, he was beating it up in a way that I didn't even know was possible. Already, yeah, I won't cheat no more. Already an issue. Exactly, dude. I didn't tell you. I like, look, when you're in love, you do dumb, fucking, stupid shit, brother. This guy was giving her. He was basically one of the, what are they called? A goal? No, a field goal. What was it? A field goal kicker or whatever. This guy was like punting that pussy like there was no end in sight, dude. And like, I walked in, I was like, damn, that's impressive. Just got my shit and got the fuck out. Bro, I never developed any animosity to the black community for that. Like, at the end of the day, that dude was throwing it down. I don't know how other people can be like, it's obviously because these guys have no morals, and then start going down like a crazy train. Like, nah, bro. I wasn't knocking it out of the park. My lady was looking for a big dick. It's just that simple. There's basic math here, dude. You don't have to like attribute it all to like one community of people, bro. I don't like what the fuck. This dude was like setting her soul free, dude. She saw God. Like, at some point, you just gotta respect game. Fuck, dude. Anyway, I apologize. That was an inappropriate conversation. I just can't. I don't know how people like they internalize that in like some fucked up way. Like, one person has like a bad interaction with like a different community. That's a crazy story you dealt with. Like, man, that takes a lot. It's not that crazy. You just people walk in on it, bro. It's not that crazy.
Whatever truth suits them into the growing cesspool of society at large.
The different cardinal truths neither clash nor mesh. No one is invalidated, but nobody is right.
Not even natural.
I might have to cut that story out, dude. I might have to cut that story out. Well, it's okay. Like, only like this video is gonna get like 20 views, so I think we're okay.
Natural selection can take place here. The world is being engulfed in truth.
And this is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, but a whimper.
Bro, I quote that all the time, bro. That's one of my favorite lines ever. The world ends not with a bang, but with a whimper. The reason I wanted to watch this is because we were talking about how the meek inherited the earth, and like that reminded me of that one line right there. That's it. That's all it took. That one line, the meek will inherit the earth. I was like, bro, that world will end with a bang, but not a whimper. That went off in like the little brain area in here that's just like walking into the big gym is traumatizing. Bro, you just learn your lesson right then and there, dude. You just walk in, you're like, I get it. I understand. Like, message received. You needed a man, not a boy. All right, I got you. I got you. Unfortunately, I'm still that same boy. Like, bro, holy fuck, dude. The motherfucker, dude. I always, for some reason, the memory always comes up of like, what was that? What's Austin Powers 3 is the one that has Mini-Me in it? Where you remember when he's like, holy fuck, you got a big ass dong. And he's like, no, it's Austin Powers 2, and he like drops it on the ground and it makes those thuds. No, I think it was 3, dude. I think it was the one with Beyonce in it, dude. I refuse to be wrong on this. I'll fight anybody. Bro, that shit was fucking hilarious, dude.
Inside their little ponds, leaking whatever truth suits them into the growing cesspool of society at large.
The different cardinal truths neither clash nor mesh. No one.
Dude, that's true. Holy fuck. So, like, we'll come out and be like, bro, let's just put this into context, okay? Excuse me, by the way. I'm a disgusting human. So you have, like, dude, you have MAGA come out, and then they make a crazy claim saying that all radical violence. Well, excuse me while I whip this thing out, didn't you? And it just thuds on the table. Like, let me just get this out. Oh, yeah. And it's got to make a heavy thud, too. It can't be like a light thud. It's got to be like, thunk. You know what I mean? Yeah, dude. I think that's where it is. So, like, the left or the right will come out and make the claim that all violence, political violence, is coming from the left, and the left needs to cool down its rhetoric. And then you're like, whoa, yeah, no, Charlie Kirk just got shot. I totally agree with that. And then because like the right is doing nothing but talking about this one issue over and over and over again, and then blowing it up on everyone's feed, every social commentator that's on YouTube and TikTok and all these influencers now that are part of the network are now also spreading the message. And then people are seeing that on their feeds that are their mutuals. And like now even get dipshits like Joe Rogan coming out and be like, the left is causing all this violence. So, you know, you have all of this individual truth that these people are pushing out as a fact, even though it's not true. So they're pushing all this garbage out, and this truth is hitting everywhere all at one time, like in an organized fashion. It's crazy. And I don't even think that it's like organized per se. I don't think that there's some one like evil Republican going, see, no, there's not some guy doing that, okay? It's not that crazy. One guy makes like an argument, and another guy goes like, yeah, dude, I like that. So he shares it. And then another guy gets it. Another guy gets it. And everyone on that side believes it. Yeah, dude, perception is not reality, but people trust their own eyes or their own common sense. Stock market is taking hard today. Fuck yes. I agree with you that perception is not reality. But perception is also reality. Like, to an individual, the way you perceive the world and the way that you imagine yourself in that world is your reality. So though I agree that perception does not equal truth, like we have some universal truths, like this is here, I can physically feel this, but the way that I perceive reality would demonstrate what I believe to be real. So, like, to some degree, perception is reality. Yeah, that is true. I at least perceive that to be. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, at the end of the day, we are is just like a computer, like, perceiving information. But yeah, we do have like universal truths that me and you can agree on. Like, that tree right there, as long as we see the same hue of green, is green. You know, I think therefore I am is the only real reality we have. Yeah, but I will say. So then you have, like, the right makes this massive fucking claim that all this political violence is coming from the left. And you're like, fuck, bro. Charlie Kirk just got shot. This has to be true. Because people's memory and attention span is so fucking short. However, now we have information, you know, like the internet. We can go look up stuff. You can just type in Google who's causing the most, you know, violent crime. And if you get past all the opinion pieces and all the bullshit from the media influencers, you can get to something called a fact. And over here, it shows that, like, 61% of all violent crimes in the past, like, 100 years in America has been from the right. And then they're like, okay, so you present said fact as a member of the left, and you go, actually, guys, you're wrong. So here's our truth, except our truth is a universal truth. Here you go. And then, like, you have two people with two different versions of truth, and then you throw them against each other, and you know what happens? Nothing. I mean, like, they just bounce off each other, and then they come out with another one and be like, well, Democrat violent crime is on the rise. And then they'll post the thing, and you're like, fuck, man. Well, that's maybe true. And then you go look at it, and you're like, oh, it went from 1% to 1.5%. So technically it's on the rise, but now that doesn't show that, like, Democrats are the problem. So you put that fact out, and then you know what happens? Boom, both of things bounce into each other, and then no one comes to anything, and no one, like, people in the center are just like, I don't know what's happening. I need an adult. And you're just like, what the fuck, bro? How are people so fucking dumb? Like, god damn it.
Leaking whatever truth suits them into the growing cesspool of society at large.
The different cardinal truths neither clash nor mesh. No one is invalidated, but nobody is right.
Not even natural.
Exactly, dude. Facts are just the lefty lies from the commie libs and academia pushing the democratic kid abusing agenda that wants to cut off boys' penises and women's tits. /S, I missed that. Yeah. Like, Jesus Christ, dude, you're fucking goddamn. Like, you know when, like, someone comes up to you and you're like, hey man, what did Steve do? And they're like, Steve is like fucking Hitler and a monster and an asshole, but Steve also said, cool guys. And you're like, why did you, like, give me all of that, like, stuff ahead of that? Why couldn't you just, like, report on what's happening? Like, Why don't you just say Steve said cool guys? Like you added like so much evil shit that's like doing all this morally loading for me. Like that's the difference between like when people report on Trump typically and when they report on like the left. Like people will come out and be like when a left-leaning person typically, or at least anyone that's worth a fuck will come out and be like, this is what Trump did today. And this is how it falls in line with fascism. You can make that argument. There you go. Here's what Trump's did, and then you can make your own personal argument, whatever. Not when you come out and be like, Trump is a fascist fucking son of a bitch asshole, and he's rapist. Like, dude, just come out, make a claim, and then make the counterclaim. And then if you're doing reporting on how he's like a pedophile, just do that. You know, I don't feel like, am I crazy? I feel like you don't have to combine them all into a thing. Like, I feel like we could just, I don't know. I feel like that like shuts down conversation when we morally load so many points in the initial description of what we're talking about. I could be crazy though, dude. People seem to fucking love it.
Natural selection can take place here. The world is being engulfed in truth.
And this is the way the world ends. Not with
With
a bang,
but a
whimper.
whimper.
As we saw in the 20th century, whether it is with Hitler's fascism or Stalin...
Like Jimmy and MGS3, exactly, dude. Oh shit. Okay, he's gonna start talking about this stuff too. I forgot, dude. I don't remember much of this video. I just remember it being awesome. This is why I wanted to make content, was to have these kind of conversations. But the problem is my limited scope of knowledge and my really high brain prevents me from being smarter than I am.
As we saw in the 20th century, whether it is with Hitler's fascism or Stalin and Mao's communism, the ideologically possessed would rather kill millions in the name of their ideology rather than consider the arguments of their political opponents. We see this type of attitude in its nascent stages in the digital age, whether it's calling everybody who disagrees with you a racist, sexist, homophobic Nazi, or a West-hating communist. This attitude is pervasive throughout social media.
The high part is in your control. True. But then I come out here and then like I go like I'm gonna do nothing but watch politics, and like even I don't like doing that, because then when I get off of work I'm just mad about politics all day because these things are so stupid. Like you know how often I wish I could just go watch a debate, a tangible debate of substantive of quality, and that doesn't exist. Like 90% of the time, the debates don't even enter like the debate anymore. Like nowadays, we just hit this point where we just start having a conversation about definitions, and then we have to talk around those definitions. And then now debates are starting to feel like WWE wrestle matches, where like the big debates have already been done, and like the rest of it's just noise now. It makes me fucking mad. Because I honestly think that if you have an idea, you should have to like defend that idea. And I think that's how good ideas are made. Like the idea of a conversation isn't so that everyone agrees all the time. An idea of conversation is to push back on one another. And like when someone comes up to me and goes, yeah, I just started doing like a gold plunge. I'm like, why? Oh, well, you know, and then I'll ask them to like explain why they're doing a thing. And then some people are like, why are you mad at me? Well, like, why are you pushing me? So what's a woman? Man. Politics, man, they just drive you insane. Because nowadays, or even just the debate aspect, because that's my favorite part of the politics is the debating. I love debate. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, like, dude, I would never want to be someone that's like in any position of power whatsoever. I know I'm a corruptible individual. If someone was like, yo, bro, here's a Discord of like a bunch of e-kittens, I'll be like, dude, I can't go in there. I can't do that. I cannot put up with that level of praise. I can't do that. No, thank you, dude. Nope. That's some scary shit, dog. That's scary. If I were a police officer, I'd abuse that power immediately, dude. I'd be pulling over chicks and be like, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" And she'd be like, "No." I'm like, "Because you're hot as fuck." And I just wanted to tell you that. Like, thank you. Thank you for existing. You make the world a beautiful place. What is a woman? As soon as someone exactly, dude. Exactly. I would pull over my homies just to fuck with them. Because I know my buddies would be baked as fuck. And I'm like, all right, dude, I'm going to go pull over Josh. He's leaving the house. I would turn my radio off and fuck around all day. I can't have that level of control, dude. No, I would be fucking with my homies. You couldn't even put me as like an admin in a video game. Like me and my buddies, we play this game called Ark, and we used to fuck with each other all the time, dude. And it was back on the Xbox. I think you can get up to like 4-player co-op or whatever. We go into like an individual world, and my buddy, we didn't know it. He would like have admin control. So like he would sneak up on us and then like go into the admin control prompts and then like spawn like 5,000 instances of shit and then like load our pockets with shit while we were like doing something in like a container. So you just walk up and put like shit in our inventory, and then we couldn't move. So we would like get the item we were grabbing, and then we'd just turn around and be like, "Why can't I fucking move?" And he'd just be sitting there going, "Dude, just stuffing your shit with shit." Or like he'd go around and build a house around your house that only he could interact with, so you get trapped in your building. Like we used to fuck around with each other so much. And then everyone loved it until it was happened to them. He would just do it to me and I would laugh. Everyone else would be like, "My God, bro, like why are you fucking with us?" Like, but they sure as fucking loved it when they were doing it to other people. I think one of them we locked because a guy would go to bed and he would leave your character there. So we built a glass house around him, filled it with dynamite and chickens like dodos. And we put like 1,000 dodos inside this little fucking, essentially like an outhouse of glass with a little hole in the roof where we could keep feeding dodos through that he couldn't get to. It was like a chimney of dodos. And we're all each other. Yeah, dude. Fuck that. Not in real life. I recommend Piggy in the Middle by Sonic Boom 6 the other day, as it sounds a bit like the latest rap. All about kids from school becoming a cop. We got very creative. Dude, I love that shit. I could never be like, dude, I couldn't have no position of power. No position of power. I'd run, dude. So you're the reason why dodos, exactly, dude. Those dodos had it coming. Dude, I'm not even gonna lie, dude. I used to have a suicide dodo on my base whenever we play like with servers and stuff with actual people. Bro, I would get a dodo and I'd put C4 on it, and then I would tell it to attack anyone that came into my vicinity. So we'd just run over and I'd blow up the C4 and it would... Bro, I wish we could go back and taste dodo meat, bro. That would be gangster. Yeah, dude. They were so good that humans got addicted and murdered all of them. That's crazy, dude.
Forums, and comment sections. This type of inflammatory language has further polarized our political climate and has resulted in violent clashes. In the mind of the AI, this is due to the fact that we insulate ourselves by staying inside our little ponds and casting all outsiders and dissidents as bad people. If this continues to happen, who knows what violent, oppressive future might manifest? Unlike the reality of MGS2, where a supposedly benevolent AI can make the hard decisions for us, our reality might become a sort of Orwellian nightmare, which the AI wants to prevent.
We're trying to stop that from happening.
It's our responsibility as rulers. Just as in genetics, unnecessary information and memory must be filtered out to stimulate the evolution of the species.
And you think you're qualified to decide what's necessary and not?
Absolutely. Who else could wade through the sea of garbage you people produce?
Oh my God, even though it's like he's on the wrong side, what a fucking bar. Absolutely. Who else could wade through the sea of garbage you people produce? I can't understand why MAGA is so concerned about what others do, where they shit, who they love, how they approach life, just complete lack of empathy. I mean, that makes sense to me, though. Like, these people have an irrational fear of trans and gay people. Like, no one would give a fuck about Republicans having their views if they just kept them to themselves. The irony is they have no self-awareness. They complain about the transgender community and then say things like, oh, just don't shove it down my throat. Well, here you are shoving down your ideology down our throat. And your ideology is no different than the trans ideology. It's just an own personal ideology that doesn't need to be exacerbated by any... well, it's the common sense ideology. No, it's not, bro. You believe in God and fairies and shit. Like, get out of here. Make dodos great again. Exactly. To survive long term, any species needs diversity. Diversity is a strength in the long term. Exactly, dude. But then people like, your white culture is being erased. Bro, who gives a fuck? Like, what the fuck, man?
Retrieve valuable truths, and even interpret their meaning for later generations.
That's what it means to create context.
I want to remind you all that Metal Gear Solid 2 came out in 2001. This
True.
game was warning us about the advent of fake news, misinformation, and half-truths roughly 2 decades before the issue captured our collective attention. Worse yet, not only do the AIs describe a potentially dystopian future for both our reality and the reality of the game, but they also make us inadvertently realize that we currently have no constructive solution to the problem. The only tactic available at the moment is for individuals to strengthen their moral compass.
Oh my god, dude. If only more people watch this fucking video. The great replacement theory is fuck up and racism in a jar. Exactly, dude. Exactly.
And call out misinformation where possible. However, given humanity's
Replacement theory is a complete lie, and white culture is not one thing. Culture from the 50s was already different from the 30s, etc. It always being replaced, and that's good. Well, all culture is being replaced. Like, we're always going to have little tangents of our culture across all cultures that people, you know, like, white culture is not American culture, all right? For one. And, like, all cultures continually evolve. Like, anything that's in motion will continue to be in motion. Like, something that was big, yeah, like you said it perfectly. What was cool in the 30s for whites isn't cool in the 50s. What was cool in the 50s wasn't cool for people in the 70s. Like, and now because, like, we're going through, like, a romanticization of the past, we're trying to emulate things like the trad wife and the traditional lifestyle bullshit of ages past, but that's just not where we are. And, you know, that's okay, dude. That's okay. And if more and more people don't have a pale complexion, that's also okay. What the fuck? That's okay. Human superpower is being able to evolve culture quicker than biology. Yeah.
inherent imperfection.
Well, because culture is mostly just a state of mind, dude. Yeah, dude.
Even the best of us are prone to mistakes. Worse yet, instead of bolstering the best among us despite their mistakes, we will feverishly exacerbate the mistakes of our opponents for political gain.
True.
We see this quite vividly in what has been aptly termed call-out culture.
True.
For instance, it is thanks to this culture that there is no host for the Oscars this year. It is thanks to this culture
My family speaks a mixed language: Chinese, Cantonese, Vietnamese, English, and a little Spanish mixed in because Texas. Yeah, dude. Like, and then, like, this crazy thing is these Republicans will be like, America's white. America's white. Judeo-Christian beliefs. America's white. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, every town already has a bunch of different cultures already in it. Like, even if you go, like, this is a white-ass looking town that I'm in right now. There are, like, 4 different cultures, prolific in this area. And they also have, like, you know, like, China restaurants, like, Italian restaurant, like, all of like these things are like different cultural things that we bring to the forefront of America, and it's why people love America, dude. Like you could just like walk down the street and get like Indian food. And even though it's just food and it's not like the actual culture, and a lot of those are like not real culture, but like it's a portion of their culture that's like already prolific in America. And America has a way of adapting other cultures uniquely. Like we can have an entire town called like section of the town called Chinatown, bro. It's a little racist, but like that's cool that we can do that in a capitalist country where like if a bunch of people that want to immigrate to our country want to like buy buildings and like make them somewhat appropriate to their culture, like that's all cool. That's the point. They paid money for that. That's good. They're stimulating the economy. Awesome. Spend more money. Let's go.
That people will be fired from their job over a tweet they made 10 years ago.
True.
A person might even be fired for a tweet that was taken out of context
True.
when said person did nothing wrong whatsoever.
Bro, people like are like, Will, why were you at war with the left? Dude, they did this shit. So many people lost their jobs for like unhinged shit they said in college, or unhinged shit they said in like an Xbox Live party, or a random tweet where a guy was drunk when he had like 10 followers. Like, come on, man. Oops, didn't mean to go back that far.
Decisions for us, our reality might become a sort of Orwellian nightmare, which the AI wants to prevent.
We're trying to stop that from happening.
It's our responsibility as rulers. Just as in genetics, unnecessary information and memory must be filtered out to stimulate the evolution of the species.
And you think you're qualified to decide what's necessary and not?
Absolutely. Who else could wade through the sea of garbage you people produce, retrieve valuable truths, and even interpret their meaning for later generations?
That's what it means to create context.
I want to remind you all that Metal Gear Solid 2 came out in 2001. This game was warning us about the advent of fake news, misinformation, and half-truths roughly 2 decades before the issue captured our collective attention. Worse yet, not only do the AIs describe a potentially dystopian future for both our reality and the reality of the game, but they also make us inadvertently realize that we currently
It's difficult if you're not upset to it. It's difficult if you are not used to it. Okay. Sorry, stoner, visually impaired typing. Exactly. That's why I ramble the internet using a made-up account. Hell yeah, bro. Protect your shit. Always. I had someone on my team who had been photographed wearing a Nazi slogan on a shirt once. Turns out there was context, but we had some people demanding he was let go. We didn't bow to it. Yeah, dude. Like, yeah, some people are getting fired over like costumes and shit that they wore for Halloween, or like while they were in college doing like a toga type party or something. Like, what the fuck?
have no constructive solution to the problem. The only tactic available at the moment is for individuals to strengthen their moral compass and call out misinformation where possible. However, given humanity's inherent imperfection, even the best of us are prone to mistakes.
Right, and that's like something that's so lost in any political discourse. Like, people just can't make a mistake. You can't just say the wrong thing. You can't, it's all like a Freudian slip. It's all, there's no grace attributed to anyone on the other side. You know what I mean? Like, how fucking annoying is that? Like, that's wild, dude. It's actually wild that, like, people will actively, like, it's so bad faith, dude. Like, what happened to the world that we can't just, like, treat people like, even those that we disagree with, some kind of respect?
Yet, instead of bolstering the best among us despite their mistakes, we will feverishly exacerbate the mistakes of
Hell, if social media is forever recorded, unlike pre-internet. Yeah, dude. Hell, if social media existed when I was a teen, I would have been canceled 1,000 times. Dude. Bro, like, so me and my girlfriend were having a conversation, and I feel like I fucked up pretty big. Because, like, I gotta remember my girlfriend is not a gamer, right? Like, she doesn't exist in my world. Like, And I use like very divisive language when I talk about issues. Like, I'm just an edgy internet boy, and I'm always going to be that no matter how old I get, because, like, that's been my life for 20 years. You know, like, I'm trying to evolve as a person and stuff, but, like, bro, like, we were having, like, a political disagreement. She's like, well, what about these people? I'm like, fuck it, they die. You know what I mean? And she was like, whoa. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't really mean it like that. Ah, fuck. But like dying in a video game is like nothing, bro. And you know, like the only time, like, dude, I've been told to KYS myself like so many times. Like, no, dude, no, bro. No bowing to edgelord. Edgelord is bad. I'm just saying, like, bro, like the language I use to people on the internet. I swear to God, like I was never like a race guy. Like, I was never throwing around the N-bomb a lot, like in a hateful way or nothing. But I did say it playfully all the time, bro. Like that was one of my jams, bro. Like I did it so much that my boys that I play video games with, even to this day, they used to call me J-Rock from the Trailer Trash Boys or whatever it's called, the Trailer Park Boys, because I would always talk like I was. I used to say no when I'm saying a lot, all right? Dude. Oh my God, dude. I used to speak in Ebonics, dude. It was gangster. Not really. I just did when I was playing video games, but fuck, bro. I didn't give a shit, dude. That was fucking awesome, bro. What the fuck? I understand how those words are not appropriate, though, you know? You know how many times I told people to, like, suck a shotgun? Like, holy fuck. Fuck them if they unsubscribe, bro. Reflect on that statement if they were closer to you. Chi-chi. Nah, dude. You never want to... I mean, if people unsubscribe, that's like what they do, dude. You know what I mean? But, like, you can never appease everybody. Being callous, etc., is very normal for certain subcultures. Video games is a place where some come together, but it predates gaming. It's human. Yeah, dude, but like, I meant that as a rhetorically. No, gosh, dude, I think you're right though. Like, but bro, like, and look, dude, I don't like to do the whole victim shit. Okay, so let me just put that out there. Gamers have to grow the fuck up. Full send, dude. And I'm on that list. We need to grow the fuck up and realize society needs us to be fucking men. But I will say, bro, it's been such a shit show being a gamer for fucking 30 years, bro. Dude, I remember... What up, Lost? Did you catch the Saber Duel video I posted Discord yesterday? Shit is sick. I have not. Look at that. My gay friends used to use all the F and word and R word, all the fucking words. Exactly, dude. Holy shit. Oh, dude, the F word was my favorite, dude. I will say, I did hook up one time with a twink who was in college. I think he was like 21. And like when stuff would happen, he started saying the F word, and I was like, wait, is this okay? like I don't, am I allowed to say that word? like, my dick is in a dude's mouth and I'm asking if I can say the F word, dude. Like, what the fuck, dude? The thing is, knowing who's around you and adopting social norms is part of norms appropriate as part of growing up. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Well, that's why my girlfriend's right about the conversation. Because, like, dude, I talk like this while I'm in the supermarket. Like, apparently I walked up and I said, what the fuck is this fucking thing? Or something. I said fuck like 4 times in one sentence. And she was like, you used the word fuck in almost every situation you could have used the word. And I was like, is that a bad thing? And she's just like looking at the floor and she's like, you're really loud. I was like, oh, fuck, dude. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no, I'm embarrassing. Fuck, dude.
of our opponents for political gain. We see this quite vividly in what has been aptly termed call-out culture. For instance, it is thanks to this culture that there is no host for the Oscars this year. It is thanks to this culture that people will be fired from their job over a tweet they...
Here's the link for that later. Oh, I'll go find it, Pat. I will find it. I guarantee you. I don't know if it'll let you post the link in here. Even though I have it allowed to where it can do whatever, but
they made 10 years ago. A person might even be fired for a tweet that was taken out of context, when said person did nothing wrong whatsoever. Worst of all, it is thanks to this culture that we will elect politicians not based on their ethics or policies, but on how effectively they can punch the other side.
I didn't mean to poo on your parade, but. It's not in the trauma pub anyways? Oh, okay, cool. If it's not in the trauma one, then we're good, because that's where everyone posts. So anything that's outside of that, easy to find.
And let me re-emphasize, we have no solution to this problem. In the reality of Metal Gear Solid 2, however, a hypothetical solution is presented. Because people abuse the responsibility that comes along with freedom of speech and expression, and would rather attack people than their ideas, a system that controls information must be set up, supposedly for our own good. The AI going...
I don't know if that's necessarily wrong, though, after seeing how destructive all these dipshits can be. I'm sorry, I need to get to the butt of the joke out of my system.
into more detail regarding this solution as the conversation goes on. However, that analysis will have to be saved for the second part of this video. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. If you liked this video and understand the importance of the message I'm trying to convey, please share it around. Also, I implore you to check out Logo Steve's original video, The Most Profound Moment in Gaming. 9 years later, it is still my favorite YouTube video of all time, and I think you will get a lot of value out of it. If you want to see my other Metal Gear related content, please click on one of the videos you see on screen now. And hey, if you like that, maybe consider subscribing.
I've been subscribed forever, bro.